Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85 back today with another video, another figure review. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at my Megaguirus Gashapon figure. So Megaguirus, she had her one and only film appearance in the film Godzilla vs. Megaguirus from the year 2000. It was, for me personally, well, if any of you have followed along, if you remember my first ever YouTube video when I ranked the Godzilla films from my least favorite to my favorite, this one was actually one of my least favorite Godzilla films. Wasn't very crazy about it. As many of you may know, I'm not a huge fan of the Millennium era of Godzilla films overall in general. Just my personal sentiment. Now, however, Megaguirus as a kaiju, she is actually pretty cool, though. I will give her that. Certainly, the highlight of the movie itself was the that climactic battle between her and Godzilla. It was a pretty fun fight. I definitely have to admit that, and had some pretty comedic elements in it. And the other cool thing to note was, because essentially in that film you see, the other creatures, you see the return of the Meganulan, which they originally appeared in the film Rodan from 1956, so Rodan's original film appearance. And so that was a cool nod to actually see them, appear in this film again. Of course, they're these sort of insect creatures. They're larger than a person. And then in this film, the Meganulan evolve into Meganula, where they sprout the wings and they have a more sort of dragonfly-like appearance. And then, of course, the queen of the Meganula is none other than Megaguirus herself. And again, as you can see, she does still kind of resemble a sort of dragonfly-ish looking kaiju. So, and again, around the size of Godzilla. Pretty cool stuff there. I definitely have to admit that. Just the film itself overall just was not one of my favorites. But, again, that's just personal sentiment. So anyway, as far as the figure review itself goes, though, so now to jump into it with the paint here, as you can see, Megaguirus, she has a sort of, the overall theme of her paint scheme is this sort of brownish gray color, similar to Orga in a way. Maybe a little more brown than Orga's paint scheme. But you guys can see that, and she's got some nice highlights going down from her neck and down her back here, and splitting off on the sides of her tail, these sort of yellowish highlights which look really good, and they actually start on the top of her head where their sort of horns are that she's got. Those look really cool, and you got the highlights as well on the tops of the claws there, the back parts of them. That looks nice. On the underside here, you sort of have this highlight of orange going down on her abdomen area all the way down through her tail. Sort of a yellowish orange, I should say, and that looks pretty nice. I'm trying to remember if that's actually film accurate or not, but it looks pretty cool anyway, and it gives a nice little breakup from that brownish gray color that she's got otherwise. And then of course here she's got those deep red eyes that she's got. So those look pretty good, pretty well done there, nice and clean on the paint, and then sort of a almost creamish, yellowish, sort of off bone color for her teeth, and that kind of pops on her mouth. So that looks pretty good. I gotta admit that. So again, just to kind of show that off there. So that's pretty well done, I gotta say. That pretty much does cover the paint. She's pretty basic overall. Again, an insect kaiju, and certainly not as colorful as one like Mothra, but certainly not bad. And then for the detail, certainly this really does look nice. They did a very good job of the detail work here. You can see the patterning on the wings there, the other side, the other wing there, very nice. These sharp tips here, and They do have a they're not super sharp, but they do have a bit of a sharp feel to them, especially this long point there on the wing. And then, of course, you can see on the back with the spikes protruding from her back there, the rows of them. It starts actually up in the neck area there and runs down to the larger spikes on the back. That looks really good. Nice detailing on the tail, segmentation done there, running down the tail with the spikes that protrude out from the sides, from the top and then the sides. You guys can see that. And then that runs down onto these 3 spike tips on the tail. You got the 2 smaller ones, sort of almost a sort of pincer type look to it, with the long spike there. Nice jaggedy look to it. Looks really, really cool. And you can see on the underside here, the rest of the patterning on the wings, and of course the logoing again, Bandai China right there. Looks really cool. You got the legs. These are just molded into the sculpt. So this is just the position that it's in, but you can kind of get away with it just the way that it is, to either have her in a sort of sitting pose, or if you have a sort of stand, you can have her flying as well. So that's pretty cool. And then of course her 2 claw arms here at the front there, nicely done. You got the one that's closed, nicely sculpted there, nice texturing work on that. And then the other side, it's slightly more open. It's pretty similar to this one, but it's just, I would say personally, just slightly more open than the other one. Sorry, just the wing popping out of place there. I do apologize about that, folks. And as I always notate with the Gashapon figures, the pieces do pop into place and they have a tendency to fall off. Now you can try and maybe super glue them to keep them on more permanently, which I do with some of the Gashapons, but just if I really deem it necessary. Anyway though, so again, very nice on the claw arms there. Again, the underside here with the rest of the legs molded into the sculpt. They do have that sort of nice insectoid look to them. Then you got the running down to the bottom side of the tail with the detail here, and these sort of rivets that she's got on her bottom side of her tail. That looks really cool. Very nicely detailed there. And then of course on the face, the head and the face, looks really, really nice. Again, here, the detail work on the top of the head and these sort of horns that come out from the back of her head. Very, very cool looking, as you guys can see. And again, you got the eyes and the mouth there. And very, very indicative of what you would expect from Megaguirus. So, and then that pretty much does cover the paint and the detail. The articulation, really nothing that you're going to get here. Again, these pieces just fit into place, and there's really not much movement that you can get out of them. Because if you do try to, when you do mess with it at all, it does have a tendency to pop out of place. So she's going to be more in this sort of stationary position. So again, you're really not going to get any articulation out of this. But that's the case, for the most point with the Gashapon figures. So I always point that out in each of my videos. So, when I do these Gashapon figure reviews. Anyway, so other than that, sizing, again, it's a Gashapon figure. It's a minifigure. However, this one does actually have some nice size to it, though. This is a larger Gashapon figure. If I had to measure, I don't have a measuring stick with me, but I would probably say this might almost be about a 4-inch figure. 3.5 to 4 inches, I would say. Making it, for a Gashapon, a larger size. Absolutely, because they're usually in the more 2 to 3 inch scale, sometimes a little larger. So if you get one that's over 3 inches, which I can definitely say this one is, just by eyeballing it, this is for a Gashapon minifigure, it's a larger size. So anyway, that should pretty much about do it. Otherwise than that, if you're looking to pick her up, and you don't, because other than this one, the only, The only other standard size one, I'm not sure if X Plus released a Megaguirus, but I know Bandai has a couple variants of the Megaguirus. The movie theater exclusive one, but then they've got the traditional one, which is the more, obviously, film accurate one, you know, kind of like this, but, you know, better done than this one, I would say. I do have that one. I overpaid for it, unfortunately, because I got into a bidding war when I won the Bandai Megaguirus, the standard size one, you know, 6-inch figure. I will definitely review that one in the future. But that one is kind of rare, just kind of like the Bandai Orga 6-inch figure. Both of those are fairly rare, so they're going to be a little more expensive. If you get, again, like the Gashapon Orga, the Gashapon Megaguirus is pretty readily available, so I would say this one, I don't know, I don't think it should, from what I've seen, shouldn't really cost more than $20 or $25 for this figure. So, a good way to go if you just want a Megaguirus and either can't afford the standard size Bandai variant, or, you know, you're just happy to add one to the collection. This is definitely a nicely done figure, I should say. But other than that, folks, that does about wrap it up for the video. I would definitely like to thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.